Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my show. Today is an extremely special show because I not only get two brilliant students as panelists, but also get to witness the kindness, talent, and passion of 15 students of DVIS. I hope you're comfortable in your favorite spot with a nice hot cup of your favorite beverage. We all know this year hasn't been the best one yet. Let us all create positive energy by chanting or listening to the Gayatri Mantra. It is a powerful mantra when chanted can have positive physiological and psychological effects. It helps with calming the mind, improving immunity and concentration, removes stress, anxiety, and negativity. While doing so, I would like us to take this opportunity to appreciate the culture of our land and look within.
भूर्भुवस्वः ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ
We began this afternoon creating and sending out positive energy, hoping and knowing we've made a difference. Today, we are here to witness and celebrate the potential to bring about change, the thirst to pursue one's passion, and the understanding that we need help from others in order to make a difference. Let us witness the power of creativity, inspiration, and the thirst to follow one's passion in this video.
My name is Calvindo, aka DJ Focus.
Alright. It's the youngest DJ Man Focus.
I'm from Sierra Leone and I love inventing.
Calvin is extraordinarily talented. He literally goes to trash cans, finds broken electronic parts in the garbage, and makes stuff on his own.
He's taught himself how to do incredibly intricate things with very, very little resources.
In Sierra Leone, we have not so much electricity. Lights will come once in a week and the rest of the month dark. So I made my own battery to power lights in people's houses.
Calvin represents learn by making. He takes a part, looks at it, tries to reverse engineer it.
I made my own FM radio transmitter.
He made his own FM station because he wanted to give voice to the youth. He made his own generator because he needed it.
The generator supply current to the radio station. This is the capacitor, and this is the spark plug.
This trip is his first time leaving his family's home. It's his first time leaving Sierra Leone, and it's tough, but it's an opportunity to create the future that he wants to live in.
Rima, you're on mute. I don't know why I'm getting muted. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
And there it is. It just takes a pinch of genius, a sprinkle of imagination, and a dash of motivation to make it happen. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Genius Up, a celebration of opportunity turned into possibilities and solutions. I have with me today Joshua Noronha and Anaya Aranjo, two of the 15 geniuses who will be sharing their passion projects with us today. Welcome, Joshua and Anaya. It is an absolute pleasure to have you two with me today. Tell us more about Genius Up and your journey through the past 2.5 months.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and represent our peers. Genius Art to me was revolutionary. Dare I say genius. I just couldn't believe that I was being given an entire hour a week in the excruciatingly tiring DP schedule for 2 whole months to solely work on something I love doing. According to me initially, my classmates and I were so overwhelmed with the idea that we ran out of ideas. And then as our gears began to turn, we began pitching ideas left, right, and smack down the center. And we had to select just one idea.
As for me, I was surprised, excited, eager. So many ideas and just one class a week. Initially, I was confused. Will it be graded? Does it have to serve a good cause? Would it count as CAS? Because trust me, we want everything to count as CAS. After an in-depth explanation on what exactly Genius Art entailed, came the million-dollar question. What do I do? After all, we're passionate about everything but have time for practically nothing.
Wow, there are a lot of mixed feelings I sense there. I'm really excited to know more about your passion projects. Anaya, so what did you finally do?
Well, I'd like to start with a quote. Life is a disease, and the only cure is rock and roll. And now, boredom is a disease, and one of the best things to cure it is music. Parina and I worked on an informative rock podcast because the two of us, huge rock fans. Also, we feel that rock music is tremendously underrated. And part of the reason why is that people actually don't know much about it. How do we learn about it? Fret not. Who better than us to spread the rock fever? Here you have Parina Tamhankar and me, Anaya Aranjo, with our music podcast.
At the beginning of civilization, the only rock people knew about was the actual thing. From being an instrument, it went on to being a whole genre, and over the years, rock has evolved in many ways.
Rock music is now an umbrella term for many subsections of rock, from the 60s beloved blues, 70s groundbreaking glam, 80s malleable metal, 90s gruesome grunge, 2000s elegant emo, to today's impeccable indie.
Well, rock has always been the final destination for two of us. Our paths have been very different.
For me, I grew up on rock. We would have my dad playing Guns N' Roses at full volume at random hours of the day, and my mom's Bryan Adams and the Beatles on Sundays. So it goes without saying that I too began to love the genre.
I wasn't raised on rock, but we did play the occasional Hotel California and Billie Jean at our house. The obsession really started after I saw Bohemian Rhapsody in 2018. A door of brand new music opened for me. Spiraling into it was easily one of the best decisions yet.
According to us, rock is the greatest genre ever and unfortunately isn't appreciated enough in today's day and age. And that is exactly why we are bringing back the music and the audience. A trip of nostalgia for the oldies and an educational field trip for the newbies.
So we had a 15-minute experience of rock and roll, trivia, the best hits and admirable features of rock bands, while also shedding light on the darker side. Entertainment and education is a rare combination. Luckily, we are ready with all things rock, except for the drugs, of course.
Sometimes good things fall apart only to make way for better things. Just like that, our initial plan of making animated videos turned out to be very ambitious and time consuming. And we all know that IB students are just so busy, or so they say. So obviously, we turned to the next best thing, which in this case turned out to be even better than the first, a podcast.
We plan to start a podcast series, which we will be creating using a website called Anchor, with the first season featuring 4 bands: Queen, Guns N' Roses, Beatles, and AC/DC.
We'll be creating both a 15-minute podcast about the bands, along with a few of their greatest hits, and a playlist featuring a mix of songs to showcase their vast skill set.
We conducted a survey to determine people's favorite rock songs of the most popular bands. Could say we chose the coward's way, seeing how we were too overwhelmed with the enormous list of songs to choose from. In our survey, we presented the 63 participants with 9 bands listed along with their best. Each participant was allowed to choose up to 3 in each section. We also included a question where they could choose top rock artists from today's generation.
We wanted our project to be more than just us fangirling over rock bands. So we connected our project with senior citizens. Not only is music a source of entertainment, but some studies also state that it can help bring back memories for those struggling with dementia or other problems related to memory. Music also benefits by slowing down the rate of cognitive decline in our aging population.
We'll be using our podcast for the benefit of others in many different ways, such as paid advertisements to small startups, and in doing so increasing the exposure by at least a little. Moreover, we plan to use the very funds collected for the welfare of the elderly in old age homes.
Recording podcasts will be a new experience for us, and we are sure that we will be faced with many challenges, but we will try our best to overcome as many as we can. Our podcast titled Legends will be published in episodes, starting on the 25th of September, a new one every week, streaming on various platforms.
Thank you, Anaya and Farina. You've definitely got someone who's listening to your podcast for sure, and that's me. Finally, some good music in the time of remakes and remixes. And I've heard we also have some of you creating some amazing music of your own.
You heard right. Aradhya and Kanishk are creating music that allows them to express their feelings about worldwide problems and also bring out their inner artistic talents. So sit back and relax, but attentively tune in to their harmoniously remarkable way of addressing global issues. The Voice Project, produced by Aradhya Rohatgi and Kanishk Shah.
A very good evening to one and all present here. I, Aradhya Rohatgi,
And I, Kanishk Shah, present to you today the culmination of our genius art, the Voice Project.
a little bit of backstory about the Voice Project as to what inspired us to go ahead with this idea. But I don't need to tell you anything. Just a glance of the present day outside world is enough. Every day, the current affairs become more and more unbelievable and downright outrageous. There exists some kind of crisis in every country. The people of the globe are divided, the thoughts of their minds are misguided. The world as it is in great turmoil. This initiative is a joint collaborative effort between Kanishk and myself to raise awareness about current situations through the universal language, the lyrical synergy of music.
The project helps us in channeling our deep affection for music to send across a social message. With our attributes combined, we decided to produce songs on various global situations, challenges, and stigmas. There is a reason why we're doing this. All we want to achieve with the Voice Project is to address sensitive and important issues of the world that we feel need much more attention than they get in reality. The Voice Project team will be releasing all of our songs on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music shortly.
To get a taste of what we have in mind for you, these are the lyrics we penned for our first upcoming song, titled Cries of My Despair.
If you read and understood these lyrics, could you tell us what global situation, challenge, or stigma was the underlying meaning of the song? Panelists, you all also can answer. Mehak, global warming is not the issue here. No, Trishit, same. Any other guesses? Yes, Zara. Zara has guessed right, everybody. She has underlined the issue of mental health.
We also have an anonymous attendee who has answered the same.
Thank you. Over to you, Aradhu.
Thank you. The Voice Project team, at the moment, consists of Kanishk Shah as a lead vocals contributor and the head of music production. You know, the drums and the riffs and the notes and the bass and whatnot. And yours truly, myself, who is also a lead vocals contributor and the head lyricist of the duo. Words cut much, much deeper than anything. The impact makes all the difference.
Moving on, here is the software that we use to produce our music. And the snippet you heard while the lyrics were being displayed was our initial cut of what you will be listening. So Cakewalk by BandLab is the DAW which I use to create all the music, which is a digital audio workface where I added all the instruments which are pre-installed with Cakewalk and some of my own instruments as well. This was a very tedious process indeed, and we'll be coming to all of the, procrastination and stuff ahead. Over to you, Aradhi.
The entire process, start to end, may feel underwhelming to you, and we're aware of that, so we'll be honest with you. Due to the greatest global situation we're facing right now, the pandemic, we tackled many snags, which we wouldn't have under normal circumstances. But we did and are going to do our best as it is.
For starters, there was a very slow pace of progress due to all the music production being done online, which on its own is very exhausting. Also, since we both were using different microphones to record our magnificent vocals, there was a rather noticeable difference in the audio quality which I had to manage, and a downgrade from our voices from being magnificent to manageable. Next, we were more often than not out of sync with one another, as we obviously did not work together in person, which would have been much more faster and a fewer distractions. And how about we not talk about the procrastination in the beginning?
But hey, where there's a will, there's a way. In all seriousness, I have a very strong gut feeling about the fact that the Voice Project We'll project your voice, our voice, to wherever it reaches and make a considerable difference. Do stay tuned for what's up and coming.
This small duo of us doesn't have to remain this way. That's right, we're recruiting any music related passion that you follow or anything that you feel you can contribute to the Voice Project, or you have an opinion to share about a certain issue in the world. You are more than likely to contact us at this email ID. And believe me when I say this, we will be delighted to have you as a part of something of this magnitude and importance. Simultaneously, a very wonderfully fun experience.
We're the team of the Voice Project. This is Aradhya Rohatgi.
And this is Kanesh Shah, signing off.
Thank you for tuning in. Keep an ear out to stay updated.
I have always loved music because it allows me to connect with my feelings and emotions. I certainly look forward to listening to your songs in the future.
So true. I wish we had more people who understood us the way music does.
Well, we do have someone who can understand you as a teacher and me as a student. We both know finding quality learning material like posters, games, and presentations have always been a task for students and teachers alike. And when you do find the learning material, it's quite often not that great. It's too informative, black and white, and whatnot. That's why we're proud to present Trishad's Passion Project in collaboration with educators and learners alike. A supermarket for quality learning aids, Crackbox, presenting Trishad Daria with Crackbox.
Good evening, everybody. Like Joshua mentioned, my project is indeed called Crackbox. So the idea behind this project actually starts way long back, and one of the key milestones dates back to roughly 3 months before my board exams. I used to make these short, concise revision posters and put it up on my wall. And one day what happened was I put up a story of a poster I made, and a lot of my friends actually asked me to share my notes with them. And that's when I actually realized the need people had for quality learning material. And during that time, I was also exploring my skills in graphic design. And I started designing these posters, and they really, really looked appealing. I started putting them up on my wall again. And that's when I started to draw a lot of attention from visitors and relatives coming to my house. I was just getting like so much of feedback. And after binge watching Shark Tank, I realized this has business potential. I was tired of sending photos to my friends. So using some web development skills I had already learned in my 5th grade, I built my first website prototype. A website that was an archive for me to access my content whenever I wanted, and a library of learning material for other students like my classmates. And I didn't stop there. Thanks to Vritti Muni, with her notes, ideas, and help, I started adding flashcards to the site, even quizzes, games, and so much more useful stuff. That personally holds a lot of responsibility in terms of my academic achievements. I also started remaking textbooks into short, concise, and illustrative books that were designed to explain concepts and theories in layman's terms. They are called Textbooks Remastered. Sounds exciting. Luckily, I was branding everything since the beginning. Initially with PostUp, but later, of course, I had to rebrand the entire thing to Crackbox because PostUp's domain wasn't available. So there are a lot of resources out there, but finding good ones is a difficult challenge. And even if you somehow manage to find good stuff, it turns out to be very, very highly priced, which is absolutely ridiculous. Simple kindergarten worksheets are more expensive than onions. And that's essentially what's unique about Crackbox, because we provide some of the best quality out there. Quality is our #1 preference. Fast forward into the beginning of COVID. My exams came and went. And later, the huge project took a huge stop because personally, I didn't need it anymore. But fortunately, Cass and Geniusar helped me reboot it, and this time with a much larger scale. So I started to change the concepts a little bit more. I wanted to build a platform that would encourage students like me to share learning material and also give learners and educators around the world access to that quality content coming from other students and us, of course. So the reason behind is that, so this is how I see learning as a process happening in a typical class. And we can see that when teaching, the students only take in input and we assume that they have learned. But if you look in the perspective of a teacher, you see that teachers themselves also learn. They get a revision of whatever they are teaching, right? So the process for a teacher, you can say, is bilateral. A teacher always learns or revises something every time she teaches. But for the students, it's majorly unilateral. So they're the ones who always take in the input and they don't give much of an output. And this is something we wanted to disrupt using Crackbox as the tool. So imagine everybody, all students and educators, could have a platform where everybody indirectly or directly teaches others by sharing posters, presentations, and asking questions and answering others' questions. Well, it does make my slide look messier, but you can see the effectiveness of learning increases so much. You can see the amount of interaction and exchange of information that happens. And thinking long term, it opens so many doors for the students because they actually get to meet a lot of new people. And that's the ideology behind making Crackbox an extremely participative platform where learners and educators learn, share, and interact. So that begs the question, what kind of content do you all expect from this website? So we're mainly looking at posters, presentations, games, and simulations, past papers, worksheets, and a forum. A forum where we create a community of these learners and educators to interact and ask questions where they can crowdsource their answers. But that's long-term and that's not one of our main features as of now. So I couldn't possibly do all of this alone, especially not with IBDP, not a chance. So I put together a team of amazing individuals, and my team proudly includes 2 other students from another IB school, and Mehak Mehta and Vritti Muni from our school itself. Mehak also happens to be our social media marketing head, and she is going to tell us about how we make studying easier for you.
Hi there. As times change, so do the ways. In order to reach out to the youth, we thought of creating an account on Instagram called @CrackboxOfficial. Increasing the hype for any product or site is generally a piece of cake for our generation. However, as a teenager, I can surely say that this was not as easy as it looked. It took great content, consistency, spirit, and most of all, patience. We now post tips and tricks, updates, stories for feedback, and all that interesting stuff that you can imagine. Just recently, we managed to reach 100+ followers and hope to keep growing. So make sure you check it out. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mehak. Obviously, a 15-minute presentation is not enough to show you everything. So just head on to Crackbox Official on your phone and see for yourself. Coming to our website, the crux of Crackbox, our actual product. The website is a combination of HTML and Wix software. We are currently still a work in progress and we are scheduled to officially launch on 2nd October. However, we are giving beta access to a selected few to gain insights and feedback so that we can make the user experience much better for y'all. You can always check the website. The countdown is there, and do apply for a beta access if you can't wait till 2nd October. Like I mentioned earlier, we are a learner-centric platform. We encourage not just learners, but also educators to upload their beautiful work. But our primary focus is students, of course. And we're not trying to steal others' work. We're just trying to provide a platform to them, a tool that they can use to showcase their work. So over to you, Vritti. She'll show us how exactly we plan to motivate our students to showcasing their work.
Crackbox wishes to create a larger community of learners and educators, and thus motivate students in every possible way. Crackbox has introduced the Become a Creator program to encourage individuals to share posters and other learning resources with the rest of the community. In return, they receive badges of appreciation of different kinds to acknowledge their participation. Furthermore, in accordance with our main mission, which is to make learning fun and interactive, we plan on hosting competitions that challenge the inner genius in every learner. Presently, we're hosting the DBIS Interhouse Design Challenge that has already begun to present DBIS's tech-savvy learners with a platform to showcase their talents by designing games. Lastly, Crackbox isn't just our platform, it's yours too. And thus we want to encourage you to be an integral part of it by becoming a creator or participating in a competition. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Vritti. For more updates and information, as I said, you can always look up our website. Our vision is to become the ultimate supermarket for learning aid. Imagine it like a candy shop where you walk down that aisle and just grab what you like, leave what you don't need, and just add what you think is missing. But don't get confused. Content on our website is free as of now. Yup, free. We only intend to make some of the premium content chargeable on subscription models later on. Content where we give the creators monetary or other sorts of benefits. But don't worry about that right now. It's on the long run. And we're not stopping with all of this. We are constantly working to add innovative learning solutions to our website and bring some of the best quality learning material to you because you all deserve the best. We are working our way towards becoming the one-stop solution to getting learning aid. So ultimately, when you think learning aid, you think Crackbox. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Trishit. As a first-generation teacher who has just started using technology excessively, I can think of more ways than one on how this is going to be beneficial for the learning community. Open resources with academic integrity, it couldn't get better.
I wholly agree. We have another student who has been inspired by her own personal experience. We all know life is a matter of choices, and every choice you make makes you. So, what if you could have a guidance to make these choices from the people who've been there and done that? Mentimeet is a proposed interactive peer mentoring platform for the youth by the youth. Mentimeet aims to create a dynamic community that helps students with academic and personal decisions, right from subject choices and university decisions to tips, tricks, and suggestions on how to survive IGCSE. They have it all. Here is Vritti Muni presenting Mentimeet.
To quote Robert Ingersoll, we rise by lifting others. That is exactly what we aim to do here at Mentimeet. Mentimeet is built over the faith that the youth can truly pave the path for future generations because they've already been there and done that. So what do we do for you? And why is engaging with the Mentimeet community such an asset for you? Here's a short video that highlights the entire foundation and belief of Mentimeet.
It was the great astronomer, physicist, and theologian, Sir Isaac Newton, who once said these great words: "If I have seen further than others, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants." You see, Isaac Newton understood something that I think we need to be reminded of, and that is we are at our best when we rely upon the wisdom and knowledge of those that have come before us. Those of us living today, we have inherited all sorts of incredible bits of information, data, knowledge, and wisdom. I'm all for progress and doing a new thing, but we would be foolish if we ignored the wisdom and knowledge that has been passed down to us. There's been an incredible baton handed to us. And it causes me to realize that it is imperative, essential, that we today intentionally hand the baton to the next generation. We benefit. We get to utilize all the things that have been given to us. It is now important that we intentionally hand the baton to the next generation.
Mentimeet does exactly that. It passes the baton to future generations. It is a program that unites young individuals and guides them with their academic and personal decisions. They receive guidance and support from their peers and seniors to permit ease in exchanging ideas and the decision-making process, because examples can be set by sharing personal experiences. So how did it all begin? Well, there's a little tale to this. So it all started a few months ago. There was confusion and contemplation lingering in my head. IBDP or A-levels? Undergrad in India or abroad? Economics or psychology? It was absolutely overwhelming. And then my mom suggested, why don't you talk to someone who's already made these choices? So I called up another friend who was currently in her IBDP year 2 and had quite a comforting conversation with her. All of a sudden, I had a clearer idea of what exactly I wanted to do. Soon, I began to look back at my years in IGCSE and realized that there were so many points in my journey where my decision-making process could have been smoother if I had talked to someone who'd been there and done that. That's when the concept of Mentimeet popped into my head. There were surely many others like me who'd want someone to talk to. To take that further, we sent out a survey, and here's what we found out. A majority of the responders frequently contact their seniors to ask them about their academic and personal choices and wish to talk to someone their age. They wish to learn about subject choices and exam preparation from their peers. A majority of them would contact seniors and peers or surf the internet when dealing with such choices. I was clearly not alone. I realized Mentimeet will surely cater to so many needs of different audiences and age groups. And this community, created for the youth, by the youth, would help individuals pave the path to their future. Mentimeet has just stepped on its first stone to success by hosting its first webinar on the 24th of August for grade 9 students of DBIS, and wishes to rise higher eventually by hosting many such webinars for students around the globe to guide them through their choices. Here's a quick overview of the webinar. Really appreciate your presence here at For the Youth, by the Youth, a webinar hosted by Mentimeet.
Relax and keep your mind fresh, and also pay attention in class, which is very, very important. And like I said, note-taking is a crucial part of learning, and it will help you reduce the need for being buried in your textbooks.
What you all must have been hearing or will hear a lot from friends, families and seniors like myself about the IGCSE exam.
After entering the 10th grade. With events like MSSA, debates or months, the process of either listening to your heart or to your head becomes more and more difficult.
I'm just going to throw away everything we were raised to believe and say grades are not everything. While everything feels like a huge deal when you're actually going through it, take into consideration checkpoint in 8th grade.
Essays are extremely important is you're building up your foundation years in grades 9 and 10 to lead through your college applications in grade 11 and 12.
More time to study the subject, whereas you're only repeating stuff. So when you have free classes, especially in the 10th grade, don't waste time by not.
Even if you're giving it to your tuition teacher, I would suggest you give it to your school English teacher, at least some of the papers you solve towards the end.
Please take your prelims very seriously because those really matter. And if you fall into a situation like we May students did for SPAC,
and we will address any concerns that you have there. I hope this session was an insightful one. And this event would not have come together if it weren't for the love, support and assistance. Would not have come together if it weren't for the love and support of Meena ma'am, Anita ma'am, Aarti ma'am, Reema ma'am, Chandni ma'am, Remy sir and Arul sir. Having observed the engagement from our first webinar, we really look forward to host endless more. Now what do we ultimately want to achieve? We're currently working on creating a digital platform that allows mentees to connect with their mentors based on their specific needs. We plan to welcome on board mentors from all stages of the learning process, from IG and IB graduates to university alumni. But like they say, great things take time. Presently, we plan on interacting with our audience through frequently hosting webinars and other digital platforms like emails, Zoom calls, etc. Ultimately, we wish to build a dynamic peer mentoring community that becomes the solution to every need. All right, now let's dive a little deeper. Think about that one person that you look up to, that one person that guides you through, motivates you, inspires you, and walks down the path with you. Now that you have them in mind, think about that one attribute or that one thing that really makes you look up to them. Paste that in the chat when you're ready. All right. So at Mentimeet, we assure you all kinds of mentors. Thank you. However, this is not the end, but the beginning to the collaboration of the Mentimeet community. Lastly, a big thank you to Ms. Aarti, Ms. Reema, and Ms. Jessica for helping me set up the Mentimeet Foundation. Thank you and have a great day. Together, we can do more.
Such platforms are so useful for students who need someone to understand what they exactly want and can get first-hand feedback.
Yes, I absolutely agree, Joshua. If only I would have had something like this as a student. Either a platform like Mentimeet or an opportunity to explore my passion the way you are. I would have loved to be a founder of an NGO that focuses on quality education at a grassroots level.
That is so thoughtful. On that note, we do have 3 students who have come up with a food donation drive to combat the struggles faced by people during COVID. Gupt Daan, a Hindi phrase meaning secret donation, is an initiative taken by Keshav Nagpal, Kashish Bote, and Karan Kandelwal to help people in need during the pandemic. Their aim was to provide food to those who have struggled to make ends meet, particularly in the tribal areas, villages, and transgender community.
Very good afternoon to everyone. Lend a Hand, a poem written by me, which does not depict the lives lived by the underprivileged exactly, but hopefully does give an idea about it. So here we go. Everything just doesn't feel right. Another day, hardship again bites. Every day, they feel so low. No one really knows what they go through. They are just trying to do their best. For a matter of fact, they are gaining pretty less. To be honest, their lives are a total mess, and we shall help them so they may stay blessed. Too many days, too many ways. Do what your heart says, and hopefully they shall have God's grace. At least that's what I shall pray. The sun shines, so let's make hay. It is just a matter of a few days. It is just an effort, a hope to bring a smile on a face. Thank you.
They say your first is always special, and Gupt Daan is our first. Keshav, Karan and I, Kashish, initiated, thus service initiative, and all thanks to the wholehearted support and contribution from the school community. We have managed to succeed in our first attempt. We would like to share our story with you.
There is a saying, when the right hand gives, the left hand should also not know. Gupt Daan is when you quietly give without any recognition. All those who have donated to our cause are anonymous and have received sheer joy of giving selflessly. This joy is unmatched in times we are currently going through. Our service initiative is to promote selfless service while identifying the urgent needs of the community we live in. The current need is providing food to those severely affected during the pandemic.
Why food distribution? It all started with a video our business management teacher, Miss Meena, shared with us earlier this year. And with the need to have a service initiative for CAS, it highlighted the struggle that people are facing during the pandemic with regards to food, which is a basic necessity. We knew right then we had to do something about it. So we shared the idea with our teachers and it all began.
We learned a lot about the process of executing a plan. We had over 2 to 3 meetings where we started with discussing what we should collect, how much, who would we donate to, and how, and got a lot of feedback. It is after a lot of brainstorming that we decided what we wanted to collect and why that is non-perishable food items, the quantity of each item, different modes of spreading awareness, and so on and so forth.
Yes, that's right. Gupdan came to life with this poster. It was the first step we took towards our goal of collecting food we wanted to distribute. When we got together to create this poster, little did we know the impact it would have. While we were creating this poster, we looked at making our purpose very clear and being very specific about the information and details we wanted to share with our audience. For example, the quantity of each item, the location, and time to drop off the hampers. We wanted to make sure it was simple yet effective.
And effective it was. We had created collection spaces in our buildings too. Donations in the form of hampers and funds started pouring in. A lot of donors wanted to donate funds, due to which we shared details of an account where they could transfer the funds and send an email to the school regarding the details of the same. Here are a few pictures of the collections in our building.
Since we were dealing with food, we had to ensure we got the hampers delivered soon. Although neither of us could accompany our teachers and support staff on this visit, we were extremely happy to see the results and the fruit of our efforts. This entire drive would not have been possible without Ms. Bindu and Father Rolwin's help.
The food hampers were transported to the village in a tempo to R.A. Milk Colony. Why R.A. Milk Colony? It is an area populated by Adivasis and tribal population who have suffered due to the pandemic, as most were daily wage workers and were left jobless due to the pandemic.
Miss Meena, Father Rolwin, Miss Bindu, Mr. Remy, Miss Rima, and our support staff consisting of Narsappa, Bipin, and Swami took our hampers to the village. There were social workers and members of the tribe who helped us right from storing the hampers in a room to setting up tables, taking down names of those collecting the hampers, and ensuring there is order.
This video shows villagers collecting their hampers and oil packets.
ले लो भाई वाह संभालो नीचे नीचे रखो
We will now see Ms. Meena addressing the villagers and sharing the purpose of our initiative.
जो देखा था अभी पैंडेमिक की वजह से लोगों को खाना नहीं है, जॉब्स नहीं है, घर पे पैसा नहीं है, तो बच्चों ने देखा कि खाना नहीं है, इसलिए लोग सुसाइड भी कर रहे हैं। वो देख के बच्चों को बहुत बुरा लगा, तो उन्होंने मुझे, प्रिंसिपल है मैं स्कूल की, तो उन्होंने बोला कि हम लोग पैसा इकट्ठा करेंगे। तो उन्होंने अपने पेरेंट्स का सपोर्ट देके ये सब जो सामान लेके आए, वो बच्चों ने पैसा कलेक्ट किया है आप लोगों के लिए। तो मैं सिर्फ उनकी इधर लाने में मदद की हूँ, लेकिन पूरा काम बच्चों ने किया, स्कूल के बच्चों। और स्कूल बड़ा नहीं है, सिर्फ 500 बच्चे हैं हमारे स्कूल में, लेकिन उन्होंने इतने सारे हैम्पर्स कलेक्ट किए हैं कि सबको, जिनके पास खाने के लिए पैसा नहीं है, खाना लाने के लिए पैसा नहीं, उनको खाना जाना चाहिए। इसलिए जो सामान आपको मिल रहा है उसमें 5 किलो गेहूं है, गेहूं का आटा है, 5 किलो चावल है, 2 किलो शक्कर है, दाल है और नमक, जीरा, चिली पाउडर और राई और नमक और तेल, वो सब एक एक हैम्पर में आपको मिलेगा। ओके, थैंक यू सो मच।
आप लोग की, आपके स्कूल के बच्चे के लिए जितने इतना बड़ा सोचा, हम आदिवासी के लिए इतना अच्छा सोचा और इसके लिए बांटने का काम अच्छा किया।
थैंक यू।
We had a very humble beginning, and little did we know we would be able to make this big of a difference. It is not just the amount of money or the number of hampers collected, but the amount of difference we were able to make. And that is what has made this first endeavor of ours so special.
I agree, Keshav. It's not about the numbers really, but unless we show the numbers, we won't be able to highlight on the impact we were able to make. And when I say we, I mean each and every individual who has contributed in any way to make this happen.
Thanks to such a fantastic response, we can only imagine a brighter future for Gupdan and its initiatives. We are definitely not done yet. We have over 500 hampers remaining, and we plan to distribute them in some villages in Jawar. Zilla Parishad School, the school we raised money for during Mistletoe Magic last year, is also in Jawar. We shall be distributing the hampers to the families of the students of this school. 2 of its neighboring villages, and some will go to the transgender community. We shall keep you updated about the same.
Initiatives like Gupdan show just how easy it is to make an impact if we genuinely know what we are doing and if we maintain transparency.
Yes, that's true. Another project that combines passion as well as a cause is Animal Allied by Zara and Kush. Imagine a world where animals and humans could coexist in harmony. A world where animals were treated with the respect they deserve. Something beyond imagining? Kush Khandelwal and Zara Gonsalves have begun to do their part in turning this unimaginable dream into reality. Educating ourselves is the first step. Kush and Zara are here to present the impacts of COVID-19 on animals and how we can actually make the world a better place for them to live in.
The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. Mahatma Gandhi. A warm welcome to everyone present here today. We, Zara Gonsalves and
Kush Khandelwal,
are here to present to you the importance of animal rights and the fact that humans aren't the only ones to be affected by COVID-19.
What if there would be no more tears lost mourning the various inhuman ways animals are treated? What if we didn't have to watch them and suffer in silence anymore? We can make it better for them, but only if we all work together to make a difference.
Although, in order to make a difference, we have to educate ourselves with what's happening in the world and how we humans display anything but humanity towards animals. Our initiative is to work towards a world where we coexist with animals in harmony.
According to a recent survey that we conducted, 23 people said that animals don't contract COVID, and 18 people said that animals either spread COVID to humans or they just have no idea about it.
This is proof about how much we need to be educated ourselves and educate the people around us. Contrary to popular belief, animals do contract COVID but cannot spread it to humans. It can only be spread amongst their own species. In fact, humans are the ones who spread it to the animals. Ironic, right?
Hundreds of owners have abandoned their dogs with the thought that they spread the virus. A huge misconception.
As global citizens with the power to speak up, we have started an initiative in school named Animal Allied, with the intention of making the world a better place for animals to live in. We need them as much as they need us.
So, as a part of our initiative, we are going to display the various effects of COVID-19 on animals. But before we begin, we would like to play a short video that displays the current affairs of North Korea.
Humans, the only creatures to be privileged with the ability to think and speak for ourselves. Although what have we done with this privilege? Gifted with the ability to help the ones who have been deprived this privilege. Yet somehow they do more for the community than we do. We think it's high time we stop taking advantages of our blessings and use it to make the world we were supposed to make better years ago. Now, more than ever. Better late than never, but never late is better. They tell me time is money. Well, we'll spend it together.
Today, we are going to talk about three subcategories: domesticated animal, aquatic life, and wildlife. Due to COVID-19, panic has spread amongst pet owners, which led to an increase in the abandonment rates of pets. Humane Society International, one of the world's largest animal protection organizations, in their report said there has been I repeat, no evidence that COVID-19 can be transmitted from pets to humans, although there have been some godsends like the people mentioned in these two articles. Hyderabad students turn lifesavers for campus raised wildlife. Pune dog lovers rescue pets abandoned due to coronavirus fear.
Cruelty towards animals is a criminal offense. This law is under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act in 1960. The rates of the following crimes have skyrocketed during the lockdown. Any of them can put a person behind bars. Beating, overriding, or torturing an animal which causes pain, abandoning any animal for any reason, keeping an animal chained for an unreasonable period of time. Strays which have been neutered or spayed cannot be captured or relocated. This includes authorities such as the police, who can also undergo jail time if they do the same. How to help your pets and strays during COVID. Speaking from experience from having a pet, it is always a good practice to keep in touch with the vet, especially during COVID. Since COVID can get tough for your animals too, as it isn't as mentally and physically stigmatizing as normal. Always keep a stock of pet food at home. During COVID, it is a little difficult to get daily shipments of goods, so just in case you or even your neighbor runs out, it is always nice to have a little extra. Consider fostering and adopting strays. Have a sit down with your family. If you have the time and the funds, consider adopting or fostering. Anyways, it never hurts to have the company of a furry friend. Feed strays in your area if you have leftovers that are probably a little too stale for you to eat. There will always be an animal waiting for some food right outside your homes. Especially during the rains now, try to provide shelter to animals. If none of the other options are possible, donating is always a huge help, especially right now. Animal shelters aren't allowing volunteers due to obvious reasons. So donating anything varying from money, food, to old pets and toys, to old pet toys and beds, and medicines prove to be a huge help now and otherwise.
How lockdown has been a gift for Ganga. Coronavirus. Wild animals enjoy freedom of a quieter world. Gurugram. Industry waste pointer in water pollution fall. Reduce pressure from activities such as boating and diving, as well as reduction in the wastewater emission from largely unoccupied coastal hotels. Evidence indicate reduction in biochemical oxygen demand and chloroform levels in river, improvement in the air quality as of reduction in the loading of nitrous oxide and other pollutants. Nature is taking a breath while we are holding ours. Subdued ship tourism. Lockdown has led to less plastic and garbage in the ocean. Lockdown has been able to achieve what our governments could not achieve for decades. Marine life is also recovering naturally due to lockdown. CO2 levels in water bodies have decreased during COVID.
With decreased pollution levels in the cities and increased instances of wild animals in urban landscapes, the lockdown appeared to be a respite for Mother Earth to tend to herself. Although, has everything been so great for the wild animals during lockdown?
A change in the environmental laws took shape in the drafts of Environment Impact Assessment 2020, along with the approval of new projects related to mining, hydropowers, and highways by the Union of Ministry of Environment, Forest, and Climate Change. For example, the mining projects that have been occurring in Goa right now. Wildlife poaching cases in India increased by 44% for ungulates and 25% for other small animals, according to a report by non-profit Traffic. That's a leading NGO in wildlife trade. Lockdown has also enabled governments across the world to tilt their power in their hand as voice of dissent weakened in the absence of public protest.
While we celebrate a temporary improvement, the situation may completely reverse once cityscapes are taken back by us. Wildlife will be forced to disappear and their prime habitat will have dwindled. The first step towards a healthy relationship between the people and the planet stems out of strengthening our protected area network so wild animals find a safe haven once the lockdown is over. We have to do our part in carrying out the good of what the lockdown has started for us.
A special thanks to Ms. Sonal Gaikwad from Welfare for Stray Dogs.
Now coming back to Animal Allied. Animal Allied is an initiative created by us, Zara, Kush, and Araya Goradia as well. With the ardor within us, we started this initiative where we strive to make the world a better place for animals. This world is much theirs as it is ours. It is a collective organization and possibly upcoming club to take these much needed steps forward. And yes, we are open to others joining us, not just yet, but very soon. Some of our future endeavors include workshops, donation drives, service trips to animal shelters, and much, much more.
For more tips and tricks, follow Animal Alight on Instagram, which showcases our undying passion to turn our vision into a reality and to stay updated on our future endeavors.
Thank you.
What the members of Animal Allied spoke about resonates with me completely. I have been having a stray cat visiting me since the past couple of months, and she has been unwilling to eat food that we served her. And while looking up and asking cat owners what to feed cats, I found out that milk and milk products are actually not good for them. They actually damage their intestines and digestive system. And most of us are known to feed milk to cats, which is why I think it is so important to spread the right kind of awareness in ways which we can help stray animals.
Yes, it is all about finding an area or project that needs to be addressed and work on it. Maybe I'll stop running a mile away from any dog I see on the road from now on.
You do want to run whenever you get a chance, don't you? Well, the next group are definitely not the ones who run away from a good challenge. They identified a need in the school and came up with the idea of designing a school newsletter. From the Jumpstart Week to the World Humanitarian Day, IBDP has already been full of surprises. Kavya Narayan, Meher Mehta, and Raya Goradia have taken the initiative to design the first ever DBIS IBDP newsletter, giving us an insight into the thriving productivity of the students and teachers.
Stress, anxiety,
workload, tiring.
I think Kavya Narayan, one of our team members, is facing some net issues. So,
Kavya, you're on mute.
should we continue?
Yes, please continue. Yeah.
Okay. Homework, difficult.
Welcome to IBDP.
Let us stop your thought process right there. Very often, we have these preconceived notions attached to IBDP.
While some of it, or rather even most of it may be true, we would like to show you the other side of IBDP.
So today, let's dive deeper into this rigorous curriculum through our newsletter, IBDP Insight, giving you guys an insight into our first 2 months. Well, this newsletter took blood, sweat, tears, working day and night, hours and hours.
Okay, that's enough now. Let's hear the real version, which means the non-exaggerated version.
But we did work, okay? Moving on a rather serious note, since we have to be professional, let's start right away.
The process of making the newsletter was as follows. Learning the different editing softwares, collecting material, designing templates, collating the information, and finally displaying it all onto one single newsletter.
So the first stage was comparatively easier. You would think. But when you aren't that much of a techie, it gets quite difficult. But then again, what's IBDP without a little challenge, right? So we worked and finally explored our creative side.
Moving on, stage 2, collecting material. All of the reflection and reports were received via mail from all teachers and students. We went on to get in touch with the IT faculty to help us with the footage of events. Speaking of footage, there's an extremely interesting culmination towards the end of this newsletter.
And now comes my personal favorite, designing templates. This process allowed us to explore our creative side and customize our own templates. For this stage, we use Canva since, well, That's the easiest. But we were pretty good, okay? After customizing few gorgeous, and I mean gorgeous templates, we asked Meena ma'am to choose one since obviously all was so amazing that we couldn't pick one. Next came the stage where after proofreading around 22 reflections in total, watching and clipping 3 1.5-hour video clips and making it look pretty, we understood that making a newsletter was not as easy as we thought it would be.
And finally today, we present to you our very first IBDP newsletter.
As to why was our talk a little less serious than the others, and we do have a valid reason for this.
At the start of our presentation, we spoke about preconceived notions with IBDP, right?
Hence today, we decided to show you the other side of IBDP, the insight where rigor and fun come together. Just like the theme and inspiration for. So why not give you all a glimpse of our hard work and Genius R project? We have gone on to use the school colors and spoken about what IBDP truly is. A course full of ideas and fresh perspective that lets our minds bloom. And now for the most interesting part of our newsletter.
We will be now entering into the GSL. Those delegates that would like to enter the GSL, please raise your hands. Chair, could you please read out the names?
Yes. The order goes as follows. Iraq.
Yeah.
Pakistan.
वो धर्म नहीं जो रंजिशें फैलाए वो करम नहीं मूर्तियां अलग पर एक ही तो परम है ये इंसानों का सोचा समझा बस एक भ्रम है
Lastly, we would like to thank Michelle ma'am, Jürgen sir, Aarti ma'am, Disha ma'am, and Meena ma'am for providing us with the required guidance and assistance.
So that's it for our project filled with fun and rigor. Because after all, it takes a genius to do both. Thank you.
Well, that sure was a journey. I noticed there are so many interesting ways of making a difference, but I did not notice anything to do with self-care or personal health, which is a huge concern right now.
That's not quite so. We do have someone here who has started his own cycling club, which is a fun, refreshing throwback to simpler times. Times when the roads were equal for cyclists, pedestrians, and the occasional car, and the air was fresher and the environment cleaner. No prizes for guessing who he is.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I begin, any media in the following presentation is from Microsoft stock images, unless mentioned otherwise. Well, I've had a long history with cycling, from the dumbest of crashes to seeing the most amazing sceneries on my bicycle. Cycling truly has given me freedom like no other, and has lifted me up even when I've been at my lowest or most tired. Which seems kind of counterintuitive, you know, the whole getting more tired to feel refreshed part. Anyways, I was excited to know that Genius Hour and CAS enabled me to share these feelings with my classmates and mingle with more like-minded individuals. Well, cycling is cycling is quite a simple sport. It can be competitive or leisurely, depending on what the person wishes to pursue. It promotes sustainable living and helps instill the principles of independence and in participant. I apologize. Instill the principle of independence in participants. And in the club, some aspects can help with team building and coordination. Students at DBIS not only show a general interest in sport, but also fitness as they go hand in hand. It also helps improve cardiovascular development while refreshing your mind with a healthy, dare I say unhealthy, dose of endorphins, keeping you in fabulous condition both physically and mentally. Cycling also has an interesting side effect when practiced, and that is the effect, the disability to take a smile off your face. Survey time. While I don't have the large numbers that some of my peers did, I did have 12 responses, and a lot of them seem to be from the older kids. And a lot of them were interested in club rides. In fact, a majority of them said that a cycling club could be a fun environment and a break from studies for them. Okay, it's time to weigh the pros and the cons of having one. You know, students are too stressed nowadays, from online classes and endless homework to tensions of doing all the chores at home because the Kamwali Bai let out a sneeze or stopped coming altogether, which is why a cycling club is perfect because it is constructive, relaxing, fun, and refreshing. There's also something for everyone here, from daunting trials and BMX to adrenaline-filled road and mountain biking. It's very flexible. Also, in recent times, global warming has been of concern. And so, to preserve the environment, cycling proves king, as it is eco-friendly, sustainable, economical, and in recent times, it proves to be one of the few new age sports which help practice social distancing. The cons. Well, we understand that our city roads may not be the best place for cyclists at certain times of day. However, with the right precautions, we can lower the probability of any of the above. We will also be conducting some workshops in the club. Well, with current times, the biggest question is how. But thanks to apps like Strava, Komoot, and many more, participants can interact with other members online and set challenges to break. Each participant can also upload stories in the form of posts or even 24-hour statuses to share their experience with cycling and how it has helped them or even changed them. Yes, it is dangerous. And it doesn't have to be. We can all be vigilant and therefore be safe. We will, like mentioned previously, have a lot of workshops in order to keep everyone safe. When it comes to CAS, there's nothing more dynamic than a club like ours. Cycling can help achieve not only the activity, but also the service part of CAS. For those of you who are not aware, CAS, or Creativity, Activity and Service, is a core part of the IBDP. It enables students to demonstrate attributes of the IB learner profile within themselves through their passion. It is an integral part of the DP. A CAS-like initiative called the IAYP is also taken up by students in the 9th and the 10th grade at DBIS. To complete your CAS, we are expected to meet all 7 of these learning outcomes. Yes, I hear you, my muted audience. I'm getting to the point. Well, every student is required to fill out reflections and submit them to their CAS coordinator. Also, the activity supervisors are required to fill in the coordinator on whether the student has been honest with their work, which very conveniently brings us to our next topic, reflection sheets, and evidence collection. Let me stop you right there. Reflection and evidence are no joke. We as students of the DP very stringently follow academic integrity. The benefits of collecting evidence and writing reflections are endless, from finding new talents to having constructive criticism and positive writings to go back to when you're feeling sad, down, or lonely. Reflection truly brings out the best in us. Well, if you aren't interested in the club, I at least hope you were paying attention to my presentation, because you may have noticed that I followed a very tedious process of looking at various details, from risk assessment to the fundamental questions of why the club even exists. There's even a section here evaluating my choices and the effects of those actions. And yes, planning out a CAS activity can be tedious sometimes, but it doesn't have to be. What I mean to say is, this process should not stop you from doing what you love. Thank you.
This is really tempting me to get my own cycle. Joshua, you've made someone who barely works out want to get out there and get her heartbeat racing. Also, it has made me extremely nostalgic, reminding me of my childhood days. I'm sure people across age groups will connect to it.
I agree. I really love the idea.
Thank you too for your kind words. I hope I can make a difference. And before I gloat in my glory and talk any further, it is time we get some constructive feedback and inputs. I would like to now invite Ms. Meena to share her views. Oh, okay. Father Crispino has joined us, so I now request him to be here instead.
Yeah. Joshua, I won't excuse you because I must apologize because I missed the first 3 presentations of the Rock podcast, the Crackbox and the Mentimeet. I came in at the Gupdan presentation and I was really very impressed by the way each of you all have made your presentations. Yeah, it really shows that the IBDP program is having an effect and and doing what it is supposed to do, help you all to be good researchers, to be innovators, and that is exactly what we want you to become, to be learners, innovators, and transformers. A big word of congratulations to Ms. Aarti, Ms. Rima, and all those who are involved in mentoring you all for this Genius Hour. These are some new things for me especially, yeah, and personally I've been learning a lot from the IBDP program and really looking forward to more of such kinds of sessions. So thank you very much, and once again sorry for entering late into this session.
Thank you so much, Father, for always enlightening us through your wisdom and compassion. I would now like Ms. Meena to share her views.
So children, so Anaya, I want to take a sentence from what you said. You said, IBDP is full of surprises, and that's exactly what you all have been. From the beginning, when we started with, I think at the end of a Calido session, we had a passion project presentation where we got so many ideas, which we have even taken one now as a competition, which will be going across the school for gaming. Then after that, you all had the MUN, which was so beautifully organized, followed by World Humanitarian Day. And then after that, we had Mentimeter, Meet for grade 9 students. And each one, we saw each program which was put up, or each event, I would say, was better than the other. And you all showed a different side of you all, which we had not seen before this, although 14 of you all were the students of our school. You all did show small snippets of what you all are capable of, but we are seeing a different side, and we are really very proud of you. Each of your projects, I'm sure somebody would want to invest in hiring people like you all who will be so innovative in their thoughts and come up with exactly what the world needs at the moment. So I'll not go to each of the projects, but I have written down exactly what you all are planning, and we are really proud of what you've done. But all this would not have been possible if not for Miss Aarti Malik spending, I think, every week 1 hour with you and helping you plan your Genius Hour. And it also goes to show that when you research on subjects of your interest, there is a special touch to it which we don't see otherwise. I thought if we had a curriculum based on your interests, that would be something for the school, because you all will be working at it in such a beautiful way where we would be proud of your achievements in each of those subjects. But forget about all that. But I'm really impressed with what you all have done in just 1.5 months at your Genius Hour project. Also want to thank Ms. Reema, who has been the foundation of CAS, taking care of all the activities. And thank you, Miss. Very well done CAS activity today. I also want to thank Anaya and Joshua. They were very good as compares, and they took the program through the end, encouraging everyone and keeping it like a conversation. Very well done.